Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 7th Annual Masters of Advanced Studies in Climate Science and Policy Symposium. Really excited to be here in person with everybody. With COVID the last 2 years, have not been able to all be together in the room for this event. And I think it's an event where it's really great to all be in the same place and be able to take in some of the really remarkable work that these students have done this year. I want to start by thanking everybody who's contributed so much to getting this program to where it is today. All of our alumni, the folks working in Washington, D.C. in the government sector, working in the private sector in Washington, D.C., working in the private sector in Northern California, government in Sacramento, our international folks in government in Japan, our reporters here in San Diego and in Singapore, our engineer in Denmark now. So really so excited to have CSP contributing, doing so many important things all around the world. So we are all here in part because of our amazing alumni. And this program is really something that's unique in a lot of ways, but I think the thing that makes it most unique is that it's really built in deep cooperation and collaboration with the students and with the alumni. So all of you, what you experienced this year is in large part the result of the generosity and dedication and kindness of everybody who's come before you. And you've all represented all of them extremely well. For everybody who's not part of this group, we have really had a truly amazing year. I've learned a lot from this group. Everybody in this group has brought out the absolute best in me. Learned so much about humility and kindness and teamwork. Some people, most people, all people in this group, it's almost instinctual to be kind, to be cooperative. And this has not been like an academic program. This has been like a team working together and getting to today, which I guess is Super Bowl day or World Series day or whatever that equivalent is. And everybody has had each other's back. And I've learned not only like a lot this year about climate and about what we need to do as people, but I really have taken that humility and that kindness and that energy and really improved who I am based on who you are. So thank you for everything you've done for me. I am just so honored to have experienced this year, and I'm so excited that you'll be participating in the future of this program. And it's been a year where the conversation globally has been pretty messed up, right? A lot of stuff going on in the world that has not exactly been desirable. Probably have to rethink a lot of the ways in which we're approaching climate change. But the 19 of you give me hope. Your energy, your dedication, the people in this CSP cohort could be doing anything they wanted right now. This is an incredibly, exceptionally bright group of people, hardworking, and they could be doing anything, but they're here because they care about climate change, the existential threat to our planet, and all of the political and policy complications therein. So they're here to serve humanity, and I know when they move on from this program, going to make amazing contributions. And 5, 7, 10 years from now, I think California, probably on a larger level, probably at a national level, this program will have an outsized impact on the direction of climate and environmental policy around the world. And I'm so excited about that. Wanted to comment a little bit before we start on the current global situation with climate change. You know, on February 24th, Russia invaded Ukraine. And something that has been on the minds of many people really came to the forefront. We are no longer in a world where it's going to be very convenient to get oil from country X, get lithium refined in country Y, get nickel from country Z, and have these beautiful, well-integrated, efficient global supply chains that will provide us with the resources we need to get through climate change. We're moving toward a world where Western democracy and liberalism is being challenged, where the idea where we have international binding norms that say reduce greenhouse gases, follow these rules, do it the right way, when that's all being challenged. We are now in a world where there is very, very robust competition between the United States and other great powers, Russia and China, with very, very different views of what norms should be, of what our direction on climate change and so many other issues should be. So I think in some ways that makes it harder, but in some ways it makes it a little bit easier, because I think all of us know now that energy security is a huge priority. And being able to increase our share of clean energy with things like adoption of more nuclear rather than turning away from nuclear, with spending money. This failed this year. The Build Back Better bill has not passed yet. But imagine a national power grid where if the sun is shining in Oklahoma or the wind is blowing in Indiana, there's a power grid that can efficiently move energy around this country. If we're moving to a system where we're going to be dominated by wind and solar and other intermittents, we need that investment. And we need investment in things like green hydrogen, right? These early stage technologies that are not yet cost prohibitive for the private sector, but we need government subsidies for all of this to get this rolling. And that's hard because we're in a time with a lot of inflation, with a lot of national debt, and the decisions we make in the United States, we can't decide what other countries are going to do, and we need everybody to be on board. So turning back internationally, I think we need to view climate change as the opportunity for cooperation and collaboration with our so-called rivals. And climate change is bigger than any rivalry between the US and China, or the US and Russia, or Europe and Russia, or whatever. Climate change is everything. And possibly this can be the issue that brings us together as a world and gets us through the next 30, 40 years, realizing that we are all on the same team, the human team, and we need to work together to get through this. And while climate change policy is very difficult, it's so important, and I think there is a recognition of people around the world, especially young people, that we need to work together and put aside all the squabbling and all the fighting and save the world from the chaos that will result if we don't take urgent, immediate action. So it's a tough time in terms of what's going on in the world. There's a lot of hope for the future. And like I said, this group right here gives me hope, and I'm really excited to be hosting this event with all of you here today. So we've broken this up into 6 segments, and we are going to be starting with more local impacts. So right now, we are in a really, really nice venue. Behind that wall, there are palm trees and the Pacific Ocean, and there's Torrey pines over there, which are really cool, which have become my favorite tree, other than the palm tree. But the palm tree isn't really a tree, so anyway. But we're in this amazing, beautiful setting. We have this amazing spread for lunch, the Acapulco buffet, and an amazing hookup for a dinner reception. But there are people not too far from here who are going to wake up today and not have enough food. There are people today, there are children today who are going to wake up and have crappy indoor air quality, not have the ability to turn the air conditioning on. And the amount of people who don't have access to those sorts of comforts, right? And if you're not comfortable, if you don't have air conditioning, you don't have heat, you don't have proper food, you can't actualize your full potential. And there are so many people within this area in Southern California, the richest place possibly in the whole world, that don't have those things. And ultimately, for climate change to be addressed properly, it needs to be dealt with equitably. And I think starting with that issue of how do we bring equality to these local communities, how do we provide opportunities for people who don't have air conditioning, who don't have heat, who don't have enough meals? How do we restructure our society, restructure our urban infrastructure so transportation and comfort are prioritized along with reducing greenhouse gas targets? So it's about people, not just about reducing emissions. It's about increasing the quality of life of people while we do it.